All right, hey guys, I'm Jordan Crook with TechCrunch, and we're here in Rome. I'm talking to three of the most important investors in all of Italy. We've got Massimiliano, Mauro, and Fausto. Guys, I mean, what are you most excited about in Italy in terms of startups? Is there a certain problem that you see kind of being solved, or a theme that you see coming out of Italy?
I think overall the ecosystem is growing. This is the second edition of the TechCrunch, and it's showing the energy of the Italian ecosystem. And I think it's improving yearly over yearly. I think we're going to get to a point where it's not going to be very difficult Italy from the other European ecosystem in terms of startups.
So what do you think, Mauro, is the biggest challenge to Italian startups right now? What's standing in the way of the same success that you've had?
I think that actually the ecosystem is getting critical mass. So quantity, to be frank, I think that we still have to work a bit on quality on one end.
If you could give advice to any startup that's in Italy, is there a certain place that they should go? Is there a certain thing that they should be focusing on? I mean, what would you tell an Italian startup right now?
I wouldn't say that they have to go anywhere differently from where they are. There is not a real hub in Italy. Clearly, things rotate more towards big cities like Milan or northern city more than the south, but that's not. There is no preclusion. Actually, you can do anything anywhere if you have the right team. You need to attract a good team. So in central place might be easier than in some others.
See, my experience is a little bit more limited than yours in terms of getting to know all these companies and what's coming out of Italy. But one thing that I have noticed with the pitches is the actual pitching and presenting is very different from what you see in Silicon Valley and what you see in New York. There's a little bit less energy, right? So, I mean, how do you guys plan on, maybe coaching startups or helping startups to get that kind of attitude?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I think part of that might be less familiarity with the language if they are presenting in English, but clearly there is a big gap to fill between, generally speaking, American presenting skills and European, which is somehow, I mean, in a sense, the American can be misleading, because everybody is so good in presenting that you don't know really what's behind that. So there are plus and minus, but I think it is something that we use to coach a lot our startups. So even when we present in an event like this, in order to make them appearing more sexy than they should be, maybe.
Yeah, if I may add, actually, I think it's a bit about presenting skill, but more profound in a way is a bit about attitude. I think that in a way they don't think big enough. So actually, I think the coaching should be about the size of the ambition, and then the kind of attitude and presenting skill go with that, in my view.
Awesome. So my last question is, do you think that there are any advantages that Italian startups have that they might not even be aware of? I mean, is there any advantage to being an Italian startup over maybe a Silicon Valley startup or a New York startup?
So the point is that one we were talking about. So basically in Italy there is good technical skill, good R&D. It's very difficult to build on top of that the marketing and the sales side of it. So I think that our model is pretty much similar to the Israeli model, where we have great R&D, and then you have to build on top of that the go-to-market strategy, maybe at a global company level. And the thing about presenting is definitely a cultural element. So in our culture, I mean, people don't get educated in presenting early in their career as it happened in the US. So if we will be able to build on top of the skills, technical skills, those kind of sales and marketing skills, I think there is a good future for Italian startups.
Excellent. All right, thank you so much for chatting with me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.